So welcome everybody. Oh, hi, nice to see you. Thanks for coming. We are going to go over how to do a CMA using Realm. So Realm was started to replace MLS essentially. However, and they tried to be as up to date as possible. And I think what the biggest mistake they've made is from switching over from a system that was created in the 90s or early 2000s to waiting like 20 plus years to change it over. Like they should have had a middle system somewhere, like they should have had some more changes in the middle so that the transition would be a little bit easier. But it seems like they've gone from Stratus to which Realm, and it went from 0 to 100 very quickly. And so I totally sympathize why people are having issues. Trev has a lot of trainings on Realm. That's where I got some of my tips from, as well as like from using it myself. However, they make it very difficult to maybe sort of answer some of the granular questions that we might have going step by step, right? So it's like they have a very cookie cutter like training session, and then if you veer off topic even a little bit, it sort of doesn't work for you. The integration has been, in my opinion, yeah. So it was a little fast. However, I do really like the updates that they've made. For instance, it's much easier to use Realm on your phone. Show of hands, has anyone tried to use Stratus on their phone? Does anyone use Stratus on their phone? Because I try my best not to, because like when I try to do it, especially if I'm like driving or if I'm talking to somebody, it gets away from me. And then if you haven't used it in 20 minutes, it will sign you out, and then you've got to go through the whole thing and sign in again. Realm, thankfully, has made some changes where you only have to sign in once a day. And like as long as you maybe sign in once in the morning or something throughout the day, it will just take your Face ID or another biometric scanner in order to just let you in, and you don't have to go through the authentication every time. And I say authentication instead of authenticator because they've taken out the authenticator now. So now instead of having clarity where you would get a number that changes every 30 seconds or something, you enter your credentials and then they will text you an authentication code that lasts about 3 minutes, which is a little bit better because again, it was like I'd have to, sometimes I'm like trying to put it in and then I made a mistake, so then I have to put in all my numbers again, and then the numbers changed. Mm-hmm. So it's I like that they did that. I mean, in our industry, we don't need any more anxiety than we get, right? So it does have most of all of the systems that Stratus used to have. So I say most because they've made some changes and some of the applications are just different now. For instance, like these are minor and minor changes that you won't notice until you're sort of working with that sort of situation. For instance, I believe like when you're looking for a commercial property, it's classified differently. So on MLS, you were able to look it up by whether it's an apartment building or a condo. And on Realm, you're not really able to isolate it by apartment building. Unless you go to, add the additional broker remarks or something and then add that in. So, these are some little changes that they've made, but overall, I do think that they've created the changes in a way that it's much more streamlined and it's a lot more user-friendly. So let's get started with how to do the searches. So first things first, like one improvement that they have made is that you are at least able to make a search without putting in any parameters. So first, when you open up Realm and hit search, you will be faced with something like this, where you get to see the area and you get to see everything. So you'll get about 10,000 results of all the listings that are there before you even put in any parameters. And then you have the option to now select one of the top, like the parameters like location, type, bedroom, bathroom, price, etc., as well as just looking it up directly from the MLS number. So one thing I always suggest is when you are doing this search to always click this, I put a giant arrow there because so you don't miss it, is that you make sure that you put, when you are searching with parameters, to put match on all area, municipality, and community values, or else it will not give you the search that you're looking for. It will include it will include properties that are not there. So once you select your area, and then there's a little disclaimer under the MLS as well that if you don't want to search with any parameters, you can just plug in the MLS number. You can just plug in the MLS numbers and it will override all the other filters and it will just give you that specific property that you're looking for. Hi, welcome. So once you are happy with the parameters that you've chosen, you can narrow down the slew of searches that you get when you first do a search, and there's 10,000 properties. In no way, shape, or form, I think that is way too many properties to work with. I'm not sure anybody would be able to sift through all of that. I guess they have AI for that now, but you know. So one question I do get is the translation of the prospect searches. So when we used to use Stratus, I used to set up prospect searches. So each of my clients can get a customized search and with listings that they might be interested in to their mailbox in real time. So sometimes they would call me or they would think that I'm an extremely dedicated realtor because they're getting emails at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And you know, why break something? I mean, why fix it if it ain't broke? But what Realm does allow you to do that as well. So you can set up prospect searches. You just have to do it a little differently. So I've set up this search for Mr. John Smith here. One thing, so there's two ways you can do this. You can, if anybody has been to any Realm trainings provided by Treb, you'll see that they hit it home very hard that you have to set up a profile and you have to set up like all your stuff. They do that for two reasons. One is so that other people can actually find you on MLS. And the second reason is you want to set up your contacts so you can set up the searches, and this is how you set up prospect searches. So thankfully, there is a workaround for it, and even if you don't have the contact saved, you can still set up the prospect search. So I will cover that in my next slide, but let's just go through this for a second. And basically, let's say you have set up the contact. Mr. John Smith here, it will, when you click into the contacts, you will see all these options under him, like contact, detail, it will show you the contact details, the searches, and that's where you would save any searches that you want for him, and you can save multiple. Lists, lists is different from searches because lists is they will not receive the the list. So that's for your personal reference. So maybe these are properties that you want to look into for your client, but you don't necessarily want him to know that you're looking into it until maybe you've checked with a realtor, et cetera, et cetera.
It's a cart, basically.
Yes,
Right,
yeah. So it's like, that's very apt. So it's like adding to cart, and then searches would be paying for it. But yeah, so lists is basically when you set up your cart, or basically you set up listings that you think they might be interested in, but you might want to check back into it. And searches is when you've actually agreed to send it to them. CMA is, we will dive deep into the CMA section today. So any CMAs that you've done for your clients will be saved under there, even if it's expired, even if you've already sent it to them, even if you never sent it to them and you just saved it, it will be saved under there. And then chats is actually a nice feature. So if you can get your client to download Realm on their end, chats will actually save, it's a good way to communicate with them, and then you can send the listing through the chat, and then now it's sort of, you have a history of all the listings that you've sent him. Because I do find one issue that still hasn't resolved with Realm or Stratus is all the listings that you're sending your client, even if you have yourself like CC yourself and stuff, it does expire after 3 weeks now. They give you 1 more week, but basically it does expire. And then, okay, if you want to look at the listings you sent him 3 months ago, you won't be able to see them. However, the chats don't expire. So with the chats, if you like, that's why I haven't been successful because, you know, everybody has a lot of apps already, but I do try, like the clients that I did get to download Realm, I'm able to keep track of it much better. And I don't have to keep track of it like a separate Excel file or however you guys like to keep track. I can just look at the chats and I can see a property I sent them a year ago. Documents is, you can upload, documents is exactly what it sounds like. You can upload any offers or any listing documents, or, you know, representation documents that you have with them, as well as like their FinTrack documents. So if you want to upload their IDs or I don't know, pay stubs or something, if you're doing a lease, like that kind of thing, you can save it under documents as well. History is, history will show you a combination of all of the other parameters. Like basically history is a way to see your activity with this client, like all the things that you've sent them, all the documents that you have on them, CMAs, etc. Notes is hopefully self-explanatory. It's just any notes that you've made on them. And then manage will sort of let you customize how you want to handle some of these features. So once you've, let's say you want to let's say you don't even have a contact saved on your Realm, but you just got a new lead and you want to send them a listing or set up a prospect search as soon as possible because you're very eager, and you have all their information, they're just not saved as a contact. You are still able to set up a prospect search for them. You just go and save it under your own contacts. You can click on searches and save the search, and it will, this is blocking it, but it's over. Is it still doing this? Okay. So it will give you a chance to set up, like, then you will see this page where once you click on you're happy, you've set up the parameters of the search, you can save the search and it will take you to this page where you're able to set up either you get app notifications, or you get emails, or you can do both. So you can tick off both of those things. So there's notifications for me, as well as notifications for my client. So, and you can pick and choose however you want to strategize this. There's also a little drop down there where under like right next to the email that has the option so you can either send the listings to them on a daily basis or real-time basis. So daily means daily, and then real-time means as they're getting uploaded. So you can continue to be that dedicated agent that sends emails, or that our clients think that we send them emails at 2 a.m. because as soon as that's when they will get the email, as soon as the listing is uploaded. And then there's additional email notifications. That's basically where you set up the additional emails. So this is where you could put up to 20 addresses in here. It actually says enter up to 20 valid email addresses, but basically here is where you can set it up so a lot of people can get these notifications as well as your client. So if you haven't saved them as a contact, you can just put their email in here and they will receive these searches. And the drop down here that's what it's asking you, whether you want them to get these emails daily or real time. Third, the last thing is this email listing format. It's pretty self-explanatory, but basically it's just a different format that they will get it. So either they'll get, it depends on how many listings you're sending them. If you're sending them 10 listings a day, then maybe go with a small photo with the 3 lines. If you're sending them 1 listing a day, then maybe set up the large listing with 7 lines of information. So the 3 lines will give them maybe like the address, the status, and the price. And the 7 lines gives them a little bit more detail about the product. And then, I mean, this is just the email preview. So regardless of what format that you're clicking on, when they actually click on the listing, they will see the full thing, or the client. One more thing you can set up is you can actually hide the other, when it says settings hide from client, if you tick that off, you can hide the other email addresses that you've set up. And this one, it says save as Fizanti's default search, because I did take the screenshot from a client that I had. But basically you can, so if you click that, then it will help, it will save it as, so every time you click on that client, the default search for them will be the one that you just set up. So what happens when you actually have it set up, and what do our clients see from their side? So one good thing, one really nice thing that Realm has done is they've made it so that our clients do not see any other agent's information other than us. So this is what they will be seeing. When you send anything to your client, they will see your information, the listings, and they will only see the 2 listings that you've sent them. They'll see a little map, but they won't see any other listing agent information or anything. So it sort of helps contain our clients so that they're not running around. I mean, it doesn't help when they're looking on realtor.ca or House Sigma, but I digress. So moving on. So this is a nice feature that they've done. This is one of the changes that I'm happy about. So moving on, this is where you can find the Realm CMA. So if you click on your waffle menu, there's 3 different, I've circled it because there is 3 different types of options that you can use for CMAs. And this is the one that we're going to be covering because this is the free one. So there's a Realm CMA, there's Classic CMA over here, and then there's Top CMA. So the difference between these 3 is the Classic CMA will just take you back to Stratus. The Top CMA is something that you actually have to pay for. It's not too expensive, but it does add up if you want all the fancy features and everything. I think it's about 30-40 bucks a month. So you know, and Realm CMA is the CMA for Realm. Like when I explain it, it sounds self-explanatory, but I myself was confused before. So additionally, I do like the fact that there are so many like menu items for it. You can directly, if you click on the waffle menu, you can directly go to Geo Warehouse, the do not call list. You can access training videos right here, and then you can sign up for webinars as well. I prefer the webinars just because it is a live training rather than like a recording that you're watching, and then that way you can like ask some questions. But basically, yeah, so you can there's all the menu items. I like that they've put it all in one page and you don't have to keep going back and forth or going searching for it. So when you're creating a CMA on Realm, it is very user-friendly. Well, it's much more user-friendly compared to Stratus, because as soon as on Stratus, if you remember, you'd have to have the exact MLS numbers for each of the listings that you've personally looked up, and then separate them by commas or separate, like, you know, so it wasn't very intuitive. I think it caused me to have like 5 different tabs open, and then I would get confused and frustrated. So this does allow you, if you don't have the MLS number ready, you can search up your subject property just by typing the name, the number and the name, or even just the street address. So if I was to, that's why I screenshotted it this way, because as you can see, I didn't complete my search. I hope everyone can see this, but basically I only typed in 228 Wemble, and it's showing me the correct listing, like 228 Wembley Road, Oakville, Ontario, like whatever. So then you can actually choose, and then you can, it's showing me 3 listings. One of them is terminated, one of them is leased, and the other one is new. So now I can differentiate between which one I actually want to work with, because I obviously don't really want to be working with a lease. And you know, I don't really want to, in this case, I didn't want to work with a terminated one, but it does give you the option, as well as it actually even lets you work with the properties that were never on MLS. So they'll just show up on the land registry side of it. But even those will sort of show up. So once you've selected your subject property, it will, the next option is to find comparable properties. So again, this is something that helps you because it doesn't make you look for and, you know, save the comparable properties. It will do the search for you according to some parameters that you've set up. So we'll go through it step by step. So the first thing, it will allow you to choose the radius. So if you want to target, I don't suggest this, but it will start off with like 5 kilometers. Then there's 2.5 kilometers, it's 1 kilometers, and then 500 meters, or a custom search. So you can narrow it down as much as you like, and that way you know that you're doing the exact amount of area that you actually want. Then it will allow you to choose some more parameters, like if it's a freehold, condo, or commercial. It will allow you to set a price range. And this is very important. I always suggest everybody to use the include land registry properties, because this will allow you to target properties that were never on MLS, right? That were either private sold or maybe passed out to a family member or something, and it will still show up on the search. Then it allows you to, the next drop down allows you to search for the date range. And you can search for 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, or custom, depending on how you want to strategize it. Yeah, you had a question?
But the price is already fixed in here. Why is that?
Try double clicking on it. It will let you edit it.
Okay, so you can add it.
Yeah, you can edit it however you like. It is a little finicky because keep in mind, like when you click on it and stuff, it goes to the end or something. So just watch out for that, but it does let you edit the price. And then last but definitely not least, it allows you to choose the status of the property. So I don't recommend this, but you can do this if you want. I don't recommend choosing the new, because new means like you want, when you're doing a comparative market analysis, you want to make sure that these properties have already sold, which means it's an actual price rather than the new price. Depending on how the agent is strategizing on this, they could price it low or high, like lower or higher than the actual market value, right? Also, I mean, offer presentations aren't going on too much, but especially if it's going for a bidding war, they're going to massively underprice the property, right? So you don't want to be using new in case like that, it'll mess up like the comparable, you know, your CMA basically. So I like to choose sold, and sold or leased is fine. Like leased is fine if you're looking for lease properties. And this is optional. You can choose to include the terminated. Yep.
If the house is custom made by the builder, so you can compare the entire street. So what kind of the material you're using for comparable for custom made by the builder?
They would show up under land registry because they might not be on MLS, but they will show up like they will show up in, you know, when you go to Geo Warehouse and you still see like the history of the property. So they'll still show up as long as you, that's why I always urge people to click the include land registry.
Let's say this house custom made. You cannot find exactly the same house in the street. You got custom made by the builder specific.
Right.
So is it registry they mentioned about comparability?
So in that case, we'll show you in a couple of slides where you can, when you did CMAs on Stratus, it allowed you to do a comparables list where you adjusted the properties, right? Where it's like, oh, you add 20,000 because they have a pool, or you subtract 20,000 because there's one less bathroom or something. So you'll be able to do that, but not here, but later on once you add the property. So try to get it as close to the custom built property as possible, and then later on make some adjustments manually.
So did they give us the list and then how much they charge for swimming pool, each feature, how much they charge in the market? Do they have we can do subtract and
so that you would have to do your own research, because it does depend on the property, like it does depend on the property, but it also depends on the like the location area. It depends on the builder, it depends on the materials they use, as well as when it was built, that kind of thing. So for that, you'd have to do a little bit of your own research. But try to get it as close as possible to accurate, right? And you can, when you're presenting the CMA to your client, obviously make sure they understand that this is an estimate, like it's these are not prices set in stone or like accurate to the last dollar. Like, you know, there will, you know, it's always subject to change kind of, but yeah, you can make those adjustments later. So moving on. So once you've narrowed down the area, it will show you all the listings that are in your desired radius. And then once, so there's two ways, sorry, let me go back before I move on. So one last thing I didn't cover is once you've set all this up, you actually have you have the option to not set this up at all and skip it altogether, not set anything up and just manually put it in. So if you for instance, if you're working with a custom built house or property and you know that there's not really any properties that even come close to it on the market, you can skip this altogether and manually add the listings. If you want to set up the parameters, once you set up the parameters, you can have two options, either search for properties or suggest properties. So searching for properties will will take you to, for instance, the next window where it sort of narrows down your radius and it only shows the properties that fall under these categories. And then you can manually sort of choose you can go through the list and choose. But if you're looking for like a quick estimate and you're in a hurry, I would suggest clicking on the suggest properties. That will narrow it down to maybe about like 10, 15 properties that you can just choose from. I personally do like to search the properties just because it gives me a little bit more control. But again, if you're in a hurry, feel free to use the suggest properties option.
Sorry, can you repeat that again? What's the main difference between the search and suggest property?
So search will look like this.
Okay.
Look like this. So where it will just give you the search and I don't know if you can see this, but it'll give you like 300 something results depending on like the parameters that you've chosen. And then you sort of have to go through that list manually and then pick and choose the properties that sort of fit the criteria. And the suggest properties will sort of just, sorry, this is after I've chosen them, but it'll look something similar to this, where instead of 5, it'll have maybe 10 or 15 properties that it's kind of just chosen for you.
Where do you find that? Like the suggest properties?
Yeah, so if you click on, do you see these two options?
Oh, right at the beginning.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So don't worry about following along. After I go through the slides, we'll take a little break and then we'll do a little workshop where I'll pull up Realm live and we'll do a CMA together. So this is just so you guys sort of understand where I'm coming from when I do go through it. And then, I love all the questions. So right now would be now is when you would ask the question so I understand how to go about it. So once you've narrowed down your list of five or six properties that you're going to be using, you'll see this, and there's 4 options at the top. And so subject property shows you your subject property if you forgot which one you're using. Comparables will show you the comparables. And then when you go into when you click on this arrow, it will allow you to, when you click on this little pencil arrow thing, it will allow you to make those adjustments. So now you can add, oh, okay, this house has a pool, doesn't have a pool, has too many bathrooms, doesn't have enough bathrooms, etc., and then make adjustments on the price based on that. So this is what the adjustments look like. So here I've added, let's say the subject property compared to one of the comparable properties has, the subject property has 1 more bedroom than the comparable property. So I've added, on the notes, I've added +1 bedroom, and the adjustment is $50,000. And again, this is an estimate depending on the area and stuff. But when you make this adjustment, you don't have to then go and adjust the price. At the end, when you look at the list, it will adjust the price. So this is what it will look like once you've set your adjustments. So as you can see, this is the subject, and then this is the property that I made the adjustment on, and it automatically makes the price adjustment for me. And then you can, this is very similar to MLS, where you do see it in a list, and you see all the details of it. And then once you're happy with your comparable list, one thing I do like is that obviously you can go back and forth. So let's say you set up your adjustments, but then you realize, oh no, this one is wrong, or you want to make some changes. You can go back and make those changes, and then again, it will make the adjustment. It will adjust the price automatically for you. And then one thing I also would like to point out is that these two properties, number 6 and 7, they're not showing a status or rooms or bedrooms or whatever. Like, it's only showing the price because those are the land registry. So that's the one thing about land registry properties that's not it's the con of working with choosing some land registry properties, that the features will not automatically upload because it was technically never an MLS listing. So just watch out for that and make sure you add them in yourself manually. So once you're happy with all your adjustments and the comparable properties that you picked up, this is the page that you will be taken to, and this is a table of contents. So you are able to choose all of them. That's the title page, table of contents, subject property details, comparable property summary, comparable property list, comparable property side by side, comparable property details, price comparison, as well as demographics and additional remarks. So, and you're able to unclick any of these options and you can just choose one or a few or however you like. It allows you to customize it. And then once you're happy with that, you can preview it. The little options down here is appearance, preview, export, and share. Appearance will allow, I'll show you what appearance does. Preview will help you see what it looks like before you send it off. Export it will allow you to export it in a PDF or Excel. And then share is if you want to save paper, you can send it directly to your clients. And again, even if you don't have them as a contact, you can just manually add their email address and they will receive it. So one thing I like to include in my CMA that is not included is the pricing pyramid. So this is a visual, okay, so why are we doing a CMA? Most likely we're doing a CMA because we're trying to get our clients to buy or sell their house with us. And we want them to, and we want to help them understand the value of their home or the value of the home that they're looking for or something to that effect. So at the end of the day, it's about the pricing, right? You want to convince them that, hey, your home is worth a lot, so it's a really good time to sell because your home has doubled in price. Or, hey, it's a really good time to buy because right now is the places that have the requirements that you're looking for are in very good price. So again, at the end of the day, it is about price. So I like to include this pricing pyramid. This has helped me a lot because a lot of the times, so at the end of the day, a comparable market summary has a lot of details. It has a lot of graphs and it has a lot of, numbers and a lot of information essentially at the end of the day that your client is, let's be honest, they're not going to go through it all, right? They're not going to, even if they do go through it all, they're not going to remember it, right? And at the end of the day, they might think that, oh, this person is just, playing around with me. They just want a paycheck or something. they're not gonna give me the best value for my home, or I don't understand. So this is what I like to use, because it does give them a visual of why you're pricing their home the way that you're trying to price it. So you want to be in this general area, or like obviously it's never bad to be here, but I'll explain how this works. So the left side sort of explains what the asking price you're trying to put, and the right side is talking about what percentage of buyers that the property will appeal to. So if you're placing the home exactly at market value, then you're appealing to about 60% of buyers, right? That's pretty good. 60% is not bad. If you price your home at 10% under market value, you're now opening it up to 75% of prospective buyers. If you're pricing it 15% under market value, now you're opening it up to 90% of buyers, right? So this sort of helps when the seller, it's one of the objections that I personally get, and I'm sure you guys get too, that it's like, oh, why are you pricing my property so low? My home is worth so much more, blah, blah, blah. Then you can show them, I'm happy to price your property 10% above market, but just so you know, you're losing like 70% of buyers because you're only exposing it to about 30% of the prospective buyers out there, right? That number goes down to 10% when you have it valued at 15% over market value. So this does sort of give them a visual representation of why, you know, you're not trying to be unreasonable, and you're actually trying to help them gain, like, expose their home to more buyers so that they can maybe get a bidding war going on, or at least get a fair value for them. So this is not included in Realm, but I always like to include this in my CMAs when I send them out. So moving on, this is what happens when you click on the appearance button. It allows you to choose your name the CMA. Maybe you want to name it after your client, or you want to put in your own logo. So right now I have the KW logo because I don't work with a team and I don't have my own logo, but it does allow you to change it. So you don't have to use your brokerage logo. You can change it to either your own branding or a team logo if you're working with a team. You do have to, again, it does the same with your picture. It does allow you to put in whatever picture you like, but I do suggest you put in your own picture and not somebody else's. And then it allows you to make some changes on the phone numbers and emails and etc. And then once you've set all this up, it one more time allows you to preview, export, or share directly to your client. This is what it looks like when you do hit preview. It allows you to sort of see all the components at once. And then once you click into each component, it will give you a preview of that component. So let's say we click on comparable property summary. It will give you this. Instead of all the details at once, let's face it, they are just looking at the price mostly. So you can give that to them. And it also gives you the average days on the market, as well as the number that it, like how many comparables that you've put into the table. And it sort of gives you an estimate. So I didn't set any of these numbers up. Like, this took an average of all the properties, and it did a high price, a median price, a low price, as well as a mean price. And I think this one is this is the one that I like to use, because so if you guys remember from 5th grade math, mean, median, mode, median is just the middle number. Like, it kind of has, I'm not really sure why that, I'm not a science or math person, so I'm not really sure what the significance of that is. But I like to go for like when I tell them the average price of the comparables, I do use the mean price. So mean is when they take all the numbers and divide it by how many comparables there are. And I feel like that's a little bit more accurate. But again, that's just my personal thing. You're feel free to use the median price if you like. And then this is a little this looks exactly like it did on Stratus, with one exception, is that you are, I'll show you when we do it live, that you're able to keep the subject property stationary and then scroll through the comparables without the subject property moving. So you can compare the subject property to each one of the individual comparables that you get. And you know, it's just a little fun thing. And then next is the price comparison. So this will allow you to see like sort of a graph of where all the comparables are. And as you can see, the subject property is on the lower side. This is because the listing that I did use is, I think it was sold maybe a couple of years ago or something, because obviously I'm trying to get them to resell it. You want your subject property to be somewhere like in the middle-ish. Unless, you know, so take into account that if it's showing up on the lower side, double check what year it was sold, you know, and then most likely it probably is correct that it's showing up on the lower side, because you want to show your client that the highest property sold for number 5 over there, but then the average was somewhere between these two numbers here. So it's still higher than the price that they bought it at in a few years ago. This is what it looks like when you get the comparable property details. So it'll give you a little bit of a summary. So this is, it's like, instead of, again, I'm not even blaming our clients. As humans, our attention span is very short. We can only focus on, I think, up to, our short-term memory can focus on maybe 7 items, and then we start to not pay attention anymore, or not, it doesn't get in anymore. So this gives you a little bit of, this gives you a nice little summary, so you don't have to print out all the Stratus or Realm. Like when you print out the Realm broker view, it's like 5 pages. So it has like 5 pages of information and stuff, and I think it's way too much. So I do prefer this, where it gives you a little summary. It shows you the date it was sold, as well as some of the other, you know, days on the market, bedrooms, and it will show you the adjustment price as well. So last but definitely not least, I really do like this feature that allows you to look at the demographics. So this sort of helps you gain some insight on neighborhoods that you may not be familiar with, right? So you'll see this at the end of every listing, but this sort of gives you an average of the comparables that you pick. So the 5 comparables I've picked has this kind of their demographic. I mean, theoretically, their demographics should be the same if they're in the same neighborhood, but sometimes they're like maybe on the edge of 2 different neighborhoods, etc. So it will take the average of. At the very top, very small over there, it has 3 options. So you can look at the neighborhood demographics, the community demographics, and the city demographics. So the neighborhood will take maybe a 1 kilometer radius of that address. The community is the municipality. So like on MLS, where it's like C1, C2, so that's talking about the community. And then the city is the city. So it's either Toronto or York. No, city is more like the area on MLS. So it'll be either Toronto or York or Durham. And you can select all three or select one and compare it to each one. It gives you a little bit of a talking point when you're trying to sell to your clients. Then, hey, there's a lot of people similar to your demographic in this area, etc. So that is sort of the end of my slides. We're gonna take a little break. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has. And then we'll get back and I'll do a live CMA. Does anyone have any questions right now? Great. I'm very happy about that. So I'm gonna take a little break. Feel free to refill on your coffee or visit the washroom, and we'll be back in about 7 to 10 minutes.
I'm trying so hard to switch over, but. Now I'm on, I'm on both. Right, just for this purpose, right? Have round. Mhm. Mhm. Oh, it's- Yeah, no, it's fine. You can open them up really easily. Yeah. You have to come in and try. Switching over.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I got like a super and that's okay. I mean, that's fine. I'm gonna do the live. Yeah. Right after the break, I'll pull up some. We'll go on.
There's just no breaking mark. So everything. Yeah. Right. And you do that. University. I know as an agent, they will sign your personal insurance in the city. And to you the first 2 years. Until you get the PDF. I mean, I was funding 10 times. I was getting a license and stuff. No, but we're gonna go back. Part time the first year. Thank you.
It's,
Yeah.
it's like, I got different result from you, right? Like after I fill this up and I go to suggest, right? And then will just give me something in the box. So I couldn't go like another step, like outcome like this, right?
So this is giving you a chance to, like, you don't want to work with.
No,
You want to work with like.
maybe 5, 6.
Yeah, 5, 6 or something, so it's suggesting some properties and then you choose like 5 or 6 from this list.
So just uncheck those that I don't
Yeah,
want. to,
uncheck
right?
the ones that you don't like, and you are able to look at them like full. So if you just click on the MLS number here, and like you see that little box,
Oh,
so it
okay.
allows you to like open up each listing and go through it, it's like, oh, no, this has an offer date, nowhere, no. like,
Okay.
You don't want this one, right?
Mhm.
And then you uncheck, and then you do have to go through it a little bit,
Oh,
and then
okay.
once you do that, you click on add, and then it will like.
Oh, okay, so.
We'll do a live one together, you'll see what I
They
mean.
will add up all those, checked.
Yeah.
one. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, this is where you got this.
Hey, Irene, thanks for coming. Okay, so if everybody is ready, we can do a live CMA together. Ashley, I will take 1 second and get my glasses. I'm gonna do it live. You have a question, or do you wanna? I'll be done.
You could just change the name and it's the same thing, just change. You can have another one. Okay. Get on it. Just get on it. Really think people say it's and go, let it go. Because, you know, you said it's not hard, get it, so you work on it.
So there was a little extra.
So it was actually comforting for me to watch.
Well, I'll go.
To say, I want to.
So they phone the mobile and do a charting.
Yeah, so one good thing about, one good thing about Realm is it is completely mobile accessible. So anything we do on the desktop, you can do it.
Store our contact, all contact into mobile.
Yeah, it will show up. It'll show up on the desktop.
So we don't have to find the follow-up boss system.
That's true. I mean, depends on, I mean, follow-up boss is more for following up, right?
But they also automatically send
Yeah, so follow-up boss is your, right? So,
how
yes.
much it costs for the follow-up boss.
It depends on what package you're
Like
looking for and like, I think it's like $50 a
This is
month.
a new, you used to have another
What
system.
they give now to,
This is interesting navigating.
what they provide the features,
What brokerage are you with?
the Magna.
Okay, so I'm not sure what they provide. but-
The same example.
Yeah,
This is a
so
new system
KW will
for-
provide that
Exactly
for you, for
years.
just like, we do charge you, but it's part of the brokerage fee. So we don't charge extra. So the 125 brokerage fees, like it includes the CRM.
The KW system, they can using the pay, Facebook pay.
Yep, you can
How
use.
about our bond, they can use it.
Yep, it can do, so the Keller Williams CRM, like you are able to do pretty much everything that Follow Boss does. The only thing it's missing is, the text feature, but you can still use it on our Keller Williams. It's just, you have to set it up different. Like it doesn't come with the default settings, but that's pretty much the only difference. But yeah, it does everything that Follow Boss does. Okay, so let's get back into it. We will do a live CMA all together. So everyone can see this screen properly, right? Oh wow, it's really slow. So I'm gonna click over to the waffle menu up top here. And once I click on this, it will allow me to choose the Realm CMA here. This cursor is really slow, so I apologize. If you guys miss anything, please let me know. I will go over it because I promise it's not this slow. So once you click on Realm CMA, it will automatically show you the previous CMAs that you've created. So let's do a completely new one. So I'm going to search, let's search for, does anyone want to work, like, does anyone know an address they want to work with off the top of their head? Okay, I will choose one myself. Just want to make sure that I actually know it. Okay, so first things first, let's look up a property. So when you're doing the search, you can, if you click on the magnifying glass here, it will by default show you all the properties that the 10,000 searches on all of the GTA. So it will show you this where you can see every listing available. So we want to narrow this down. So since we're located in Richmond Hill, let's choose Richmond Hill. So I will go choose York. And then for the municipality, I'm choosing Richmond Hill. And then for the community, I think we're in rural Richmond Hill. So I will choose rural Richmond Hill. So these are the area parameters that I've chosen. And I'm not sure if you guys caught that, but as I so if I was to cross this out, it will zoom out. So if I unselect rural Richmond Hill, it will show me all the properties in Richmond Hill. If I unselect Richmond Hill, it will show me all the properties in all of the York region. So I'm going to select them one more time. And then as I'm selecting the properties, it's zooming in, like it's narrowing down to the specific area that I'm targeting. So once that I've narrowed this down, now I'm only working with about 34 results. So let's select a property from here. We'll do, there's a lot of new townhouses coming up, and so we'll select this one, 15 Mace Avenue. So it's 15 Mace Avenue. As you can see, I'm not worrying about the MLS number or anything. I just need the address and I can type. So we will go back to our other window that we've, so again, if you want to click for this, you select your waffle menu and you click on the Realm CMA. And then once you select that, it will bring you here. And then we will type 15 Mace and it should come up, and this is it.
Excuse me, what community are you in?
So I selected this one. So I selected York, Richmond Hill, and rural Richmond Hill. Yeah. No problem. So I only selected this because this is where our office is located, so it just makes sense. And then, so once we're happy with the property that we've selected, we're gonna hit create. So I just want to see a show of hands if everyone else is caught up to this page, or I can go back. Yeah, we're good.
So after,
Mhm.
with the community, fit in address.
So I typed in 15 Mace Avenue.
I'm gonna set up a little bit. So which one did you do?
So select the waffle menu and select Realm CMA. And then type 15 MAC.
No, not at all. It's, I barely ever open
So-
up this. I
so,
mean, I've just done a lot more on my
right.
phone.
You don't have to go
Is when I'm out.
through the searches. You can just
I like
select
combo.
go to the waffle menu. I only did that because I wanted to show you guys like where I'm doing it from. So click on the Realm CMA. The second menu item. And then where it asks you to type the address, type 15
15.
MAC.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
We can find here. Done all the first step. We can find the only done for the.
And that's okay. So if you can't find the listing here, but I only did that so you guys see. Sorry, I might have confused you guys because I was searching for the list, but basically you click on the waffle menu and you click on the Realm CMA, and then you type 15 MAC. Okay, so if everyone is caught up to this page, I will move on. And so once you've selected the address, you can hit create. So once you hit create, it will take you to this menu, and you can select. So when you click on the drop down menu of the distance, it allows you to choose these distances. Yeah, the radius. Thank you. The radius. So I'm gonna go with 1 kilometer. They have the options of 500 meters and 250 meters because I think that makes more sense when you're doing like a condo building and you kind of just isolate that building. But most of the time when you're doing a CMA, you want to stick to like the 1 kilometer radius, just because depending on the location that you're dealing with, there might not be enough properties for you to do like, pull data from. So I'm going to select 1 kilometer, and then this is a freehold. And I think, so the price, so I'm looking at our subject property here, and it looks like it's about 1.38. So I'm going to set the parameters at, actually, this is exactly how I want it to set up, because it's choosing the price range is about $200,000 less than the subject property to $200,000 more.
Just click back to the subject property. How did you get back there so quickly?
Oh, it's in another
Oh, do you have
tab.
another
I
tab?
have another tab open.
How'd you open another tab? Is that simple to do? Did you just open?
One
Does it
second.
know in Scratch you can just put new window?
Yeah, it's exactly like that. So right click and put new window. And so just so everybody is able to see, yeah, so I just have 2 tabs open. So so originally when I was, I think I confused everybody, but basically when I was choosing a subject property, I opened up a new tab so I could, because we didn't have a subject property. Yeah, she's right. So if you do open another tab, it should allow you.
Just new tab, or like what did you do from here?
So can you open a new tab on suggest properties or something? No, on the suggest properties. Yeah. So right click. No, right click. Or from here too, you can. This would probably be simpler. So if you
Pencil. So now
go. Okay, you have to start over here. But while you're here, do you want to open up another tab?
Sure. So where do we go?
You can open up another tab in anything. So
Just
like
open up another tab.
click. No. So go back. So click like where it says realm or something. You can open up another tab.
Oh, really?
No, like right click,
Right.
and then it asks you to open in another tab.
Open link.
In another tab. So now you have 2 tabs.
Okay, I'll have to. I don't know why
Okay.
it's saying that.
Try on one of the listings. So again, to open up a new tab, you have to right click, and then it allows you to open the content in a new tab.
Okay, it's okay. I'm like in the window. Let's see if that works.
And then if it does work, you can, it'll say listing not found, but you can just look it up and you can just put the tab in. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, it's always a good idea to sort of maybe have the subject property open in another tab, just so you can actually make an accurate CMA. Yeah. I'll start over, honestly. Everybody's getting very confused and I apologize for that. So when you're here, you click on the waffle menu and you click on Realm CMA. and then it will allow you to search by address, MLS number, or PIN. And then the subject property that we'll be working with is 15 Mace. And if you type in 15 Mace, it will come up because this is the newest listing. So the one I'm using is a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom townhome.
Well, when it comes up, does it give you, it doesn't give you the option to enter only townhomes or only semis or detaches, it just, well, yeah, you enter the address, but how do you define that you want only townhouses coming up, or does it automatically do that?
Well, because you get to select the comparables that you want.
Oh, so that's what you're saying to them, okay, I'd rather just, like, I don't want to select them, I just would want.
Yeah, then you can skip it altogether. Like you don't have to select any parameters. You can skip it and then manually choose them.
I would just like all semis or all townhouses to come up if I'm searching a specific type of property. So if I just go search properties here, and then where in here, sort and under sort, I guess.
So not under sort. When you
It's
click on
under
freehold,
any.
no, and then
Freehold,
freehold,
okay,
and then
okay.
you'd be able to choose the parameters.
Okay.
So I'm actually glad you pointed that out because we're gonna have to go through that when we do townhomes, because it doesn't allow you to. So this is it's a freehold townhome. So that's why I selected this one because I'll show you exactly how to isolate it. So once we've selected the subject property, we're gonna hit create. And it will allow you to choose like these parameters. And in all fairness, if you want to manually select the properties and you don't want to go through this, you can just hit skip and it will allow you to just search up properties manually. So I'm going to select 1 kilometer radius, freehold, and then I'm going to actually select condo and other as well, because this is a townhome and this one is a freehold townhome, but it like other properties might not be. And I like the price range that it's selected, but again, you are able to make changes if you just double click on it. Just watch out that it does delete everything when you select it. So just watch out for that, but it does allow you to make changes to the price. But for now, I'm happy with the price because it's selected 200K under the asking, under the subject property and 200K above.
Saraf,
Yeah.
if I'm in this page, how do I get that back up? Because I kind of exited it, then I'm here. How do I get?
Go to comparables.
Below?
No, the tab over there.
This one?
So about this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Or you can exit out and then it will have it saved on your skin.
You have to include for the land register.
And if you select that, then it will. Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Are you able to?
I guess I'll have to delete the first one.
You don't have to delete it. You can just
Yeah, no. So I think since it's already here, it's kind of, okay. Okay.
And then hit.
But I guess once you exit it by accident, you get the.
Yeah,
That's
so
not
I
what
guess this is a design flaw.
Yeah.
You're not able to, because I think like 3 people just made this mistake where like, and I've done that as well, where once you exit this window, like if you hit skip, search, or suggest, you can't get back into this window unless you start all the way over. So one good thing is that this is just, you are able to still make the adjustments here. So let's do an example. So I'm not going to select the land registry properties. Actually, hold on. I'm not going to select, so normally I like to work with sold, expired, and sometimes even terminated. But I'm not going to select those because I'm going to come back. I'll show you guys how to come back and make that adjustment. So for now, I'm gonna do I like to do 3 months, but let's do last 6 months. And then
Filters or?
the date
Date
range. And then I'll do search properties. So again, I personally do like to do search properties because it narrows it down. See, now whether I zoom in or out, it doesn't show any other properties. Like it only shows me the properties that are in the little circle that I've chosen. And so this is why I wanted to select the area around our office, just because in rural Richmond Hill, the activity is not so hot and there's only 4 listings that we're going to be working with. So once you have all your listings, so let's say now I want to, I don't think this is enough listings. How about I don't like the listings that it's given me. So I'm going to go ahead and change some of the parameters. So on top, now as you're choosing these, as you're changing these parameters, I'm going to go into freehold and select only the attached row street townhouse. So thankfully it is still showing me the same 4 results. And then I'm maybe going to adjust the price and I'll make it 7 or 9. Yeah, we really don't have any that many listings around. Yeah, so it's still only showing me the 4 results here, but basically you should be able to make adjustments to the parameters here. And then you can also click on, so once you're happy with this, you'll see a little tab at the top right-hand corner, and it has the CMA option, and you can select that, and you can add to comparables, or you can replace comparables, or you can return to the CMA altogether, and then it will allow you to choose a whole different set of comparables. But for now, let's just add to CMA.
Sorry. So are you just doing add to comparables or what are you doing?
Yeah, so I realized the option now disappeared.
What time are we going to today?
12:30. So for what it's worth, if you guys feel like you have a good handle of it, or if you need to get going, you're not holding you, you don't have to stay, but I'm having now technical difficulties here. So for what it's worth, when you hit the back button, it does allow you to go back to the find comparables. And then if you go here, add listings. Okay, there we go. So it allowed me to sort of add the comparables that I've selected, and it took me to the comparables list. Everybody looks very confused. Does anyone have questions? Like, or what are the issues that you're having?
So let's see, I added to comparable,
Mhm.
and then how do I go back to that list? So I had these, I did that.
Add to comparable.
Yeah, but I guess I
And
just
then
select-
return to CMA.
Okay.
And then you should, yeah, so we're at the same page.
Okay.
So you look at the CMA and then you add to comparable, and then you click on it.
Okay, so the one. We have four, and have them sort of this four up.
Yeah, no, you're exactly where you're supposed to go. We haven't gotten there yet, so you're fine. Yeah, you're fine too. Okay, so, you look a little confused, but no, it looks like you
These are-
got there.
These are, and then these are the three I want, I guess.
Yeah, so you don't have to select the exact same properties that I've selected. Again, this is just a demonstration to like get you guys to work on it. But basically, and then, yeah, you're exactly where you're
And then-
supposed to be.
And then where do I go add, like, I want.
This is added to, oh, sorry, scroll down. Okay, I think that was the correct one. So select the top and add this. So cancel. And select one more. The one.
Oh, I'll just delete these one for this thing that I don't want. That's the option it's giving me, this is so weird.
I believe if you move on, sorry, your screen is like really far.
It's okay, there, I think I have it now. Oh, well, now I don't know.
I think you deleted the CMA.
Okay, well, I don't know.
All right, well, if you want, you could,
Well, I'll
like,
just start
I'm
over.
waiting for you to start.
This is why I start over, this is why.
Selected properties, now the next.
So, click on the, yeah, you're in the progress, right?
Last one.
Stephanie, for what it's worth, I just figured out how to get back to the, so from here, do you know where to go? So include, all right.
You have to click them all?
No, you don't have
Cool.
to. So it looks like your range got away. Yeah. So you can select a few comparables. So let's say we select the masonry.
It's happening now. I don't want to delete it. Maybe we should go back there.
So, yeah. Okay, so I did figure out that you can actually get that window back where it says find the comparable. So if you click on that arrow over there, the blue arrow, if you click on find comparable, so it does take you back. And then click on search or suggest. And then select your, so select the location, because it doesn't look like you have a subject.
I just went back to the thing that I did, but I don't know. That's why I get frustrated when you just like, okay, I'll just use what I know. But
Yeah, no, I understand it's frustrating. So from here, if you click on CMA, it should give you that option to add to comparable, and then a little pop-up comes where you can view the CMA, or will take you here. But for some reason, it's like not loading. This might just be like an internet issue. Yeah. You shouldn't have to, yeah, like, that's one good thing, but like, you shouldn't have to start over, you can just click on that.
that's what I did before, and then it's the same thing. So this is where.
So now go to comparable. And then, do the arrow. Fine. And then just search.
We have to include the terminal.
You should, but you know, it's just, right now. we're
How about
doing it
you
next
doing
to-
condo another or just?
Yeah, I did condo.
I don't know.
Okay, just give it a second. Yeah. Well, but from here, if you click on the drop down, the CMA drop down. So now it's grayed out, but you should be able to add two comparables, and then a little green thing will pop up that says, view the CMA for 15 Mays. So in the interest of time, I will move on to the next section. Because it does look like everybody's getting a little confused. So the system is a little bit finicky in terms of, well, this is what sort of happens when we're learning a new system. We're gonna need some practice to get used to it. For what it's worth, it does allow you to go back to that menu where we decided where the parameters are. If I click on this arrow over here and then hit find comparables, it will take me back here. So once I'm back here, I can now search for more properties, and then you can actually manually extend the radius and stuff as well. Okay. So now that I'm working with 7 listings, I don't want 7 listings. I only want to work with 4 or 5. So I want to narrow it down a little further. But basically, let's say I select, like, so from here, I would suggest right clicking and then opening the listing in a new tab if you want to look at the listing, because just keep in mind, if you click to view the listing, it will take you out of the window, and then it seems everybody's getting confused. So you can just open it up in a new tab. But for now, I'm just gonna, in the interest of time, I'm just gonna select the first 4 listings. And then now that I've selected it, you should see a CMA drop down in the top right-hand corner. And then once you're here, you can add to comparables. And then once you click on add to comparables, it will have a little green pop-up here that allows you to view the CMA as a whole. So you should see this, it says 4 properties added to 15 Mace Avenue. So I'm gonna click on this one and it will take me back to my list of comparables. So once I'm here, I can hit the preview button, and this is where it will take me to each of the components. So when I want to view each of the components, I believe somebody asked me where to see the comparable side by side, and that would be this one. If I click onto this, this is the fun little thing that allows you to freeze the first list, the subject property, and then you can slide through each of the comparables. So you can view like one at a time rather than having to see all of them at once, etc. And
Where did you get that? I'm trying to see that as well. How I compare.
so are you on this screen?
I'm on where it has where we enlarged the boundary. That's 7 results.
Okay. So from the 7 results, here. So you're here.
Correct.
Okay. So do you see the CMA button at the top over here? The drop down?
From the source?
No. Can everybody see this one here?
Oh, yes, okay.
And then you can add 2 comparables. And then once you click on the add 2 comparables, it will have a little green pop up on the bottom of the screen.
Click on that.
Click on that. Click on the address.
I don't see that where I add that. Can you?
And then do you go to preview from there?
Yeah, if you hit preview, then you should see all the little applets.
So I have 7, but I don't.
All right, this.
So you had it. Like we added these comparables. So now just hit preview. And this is where. So you're at exactly the correct place. So add to comparable, and you use the CMA, and now you're here. And hit. No worries. Okay. So you have it. So just hit the preview button.
Preview it,
Yeah.
not adjustment.
No.
Okay.
So this is where you can see all the little applets.
Mhm.
So once you can see all the applets, it will allow you to, that's where I selected the comparable property side by side. So that's where I just wanted to demonstrate this little feature because I know we're feeling discouraged, but I assure you it is, I do find it a lot better than the Stratus CMA. We just need some time to get used to it.
That is from comparable properties, right?
Yeah, so comparable property side by side.
Mhm.
Excuse me, how do you get it to go side by side? I have 4 properties on the left. How do I get it to look like on the screen?
Hit the preview button.
Preview?
Go to CMA, using the CMA. Yes, go down. Yes, down to the bottom of that menu. Yes, return.
So if we send this to the clients, right, they can see it like if they hit this button, right, they can see whatever we see, right?
So when you send it to your clients, they will actually see it this way. So I'll show you what your clients will see. We hit export. So when you share it, it automatically sends them sort of like a PDF file of it. So when you hit export, you will be able to see this. So tell you what, I do offer one-on-one consultation sessions. So I'm happy to actually, yeah, no worries. Have a good one. I'm happy to actually sit down with you guys and
Thank you.
answer any questions that you might have, and that way I can provide you with more personalized Thank you. Yeah, no worries. There's also a QR code in the back where if you scan it, you can get all my information as well.
So basically, like this Mace property is 1.389, the other ones are coming up much lower, so how is it, like, why would it give me this comparison?
So this is why we have the adjustments. So I'm just going to show you quickly what your clients will see, and then I will show you how to get to the adjustments. So this is what your clients are seeing. They will get it as like a nice little report. So I hit export. And then it'll allow you to export. So Stephanie, it's in this page. And then if you hit export. And then they will see all the applets, and they'll get a nice little report. And then one more thing I will show you guys is the adjustments. So when you hit adjustments, this is where you can sort of add. So for instance, this one looks like it's priced about 100,000 less than the subject property. And that is because it looks like it's got an unfinished basement. So I will add plus 100,000. So as you type it this way, and then now if we preview, it will have the adjusted price. So now it looks like it's almost, it's about 20, like, you know, it's very, very close to the subject property price. So I am coming to the conclusion of my training.